Are you tired of the typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh? Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.
You've asked for silence, but you just breathe violence. And you've locked the building blocks of kindness. Spewing venom, burning bridges. Are you deaf? Don't you hear the cries? We're not puppets in your theater of broken ties.
In the name of love, and that is HandsomeKarnivore, and we have Franco here with us today to talk about this wonderful music. Hey Franco, how's it going?
Hey, how are you, man?
Oh good, oh good. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time, and this is an incredible piece of cinematic type of music with roots in progressive rock. Is really impressive. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your band, HandsomeKarnivore.
Sure. Well, as we were spoken a little bit earlier, we're a band originally from New Jersey as a 3-piece instrumental piece. Our first record is literally instrumental music with spoken word poetry. But as writing songs and growing as songwriters, we developed a bit more, moved from New Jersey to California, wrote our second record, which has got a way more bit of production, 3 different types of vocalists, all these things going on. We believe we never box ourselves in. The song always seems to tell us what needs to be done for the song when that comes to arrangement, instrumentation. If it needs a harpsichord, it needs a harpsichord. So we're kind of like, true believers in songwriting, and then try to fit the bands around that. Now we're in our third iteration, doing our third record, Entities from the Fog, which will hopefully be out later this year, and it is a full production assault with keyboards, organs, mellotrons, of course all the guitar work. We're mainly known as a guitar kind of based rock stuff. I kind of like taking it back to the 60s and 70s with a little bit of blues in there, but as I said before, we don't try to box ourselves in, but that's kind of what we're known for, just kind of being a rockin' band.
Wonderful. I really liked these letting the song ask for whatever arrangement or direction it requires. How do you navigate that process? Is it somewhat of what feels good goes, or tell us a little bit about that process?
Yeah, I think especially when it comes to writing, it has to feel good and it's got to play good. Like mainly I play guitar when I'm writing the songs, and it's got to play good. You got to feel it. Like that's why we love Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath. Those riffs. You just play when you hear Tony Iommi or Jimmy Page doing their thing. You kind of want to pick up the guitar and do it. So it's got to feel good. And I think that's the way it's got to be, especially that. But putting the stuff, like I bought a 12-string acoustic guitar just because of that. There's one song that's like, well, that would be good in the background. I think if you listen to enough of the older stuff, don't restrict yourself to one era like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. I'm always digging in the past, it seems to be. And that really can inspire you to put sounds and change your ideas about arrangements and, melodies, everything. It's you got to be open like a sponge,
Totally agree. Tell us a little bit about the person behind the musician in your case. How did you get started?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I could basically say that I never thought I'd actually be in a band and be doing music and stuff like that. When I was growing up, my first love is dogs, so that is my main job. I do work with dogs. I'm a manager at this Deep Head Hotels in Los Angeles.
Cool.
And it's great. I literally work with dogs. That was my first love. So I kind of am living a dream in that essence with that. And then I wanted to be a professional skateboarder, but I lived in New Jersey, and, you know, it's a little tough coming from an area like that in a time like that. You know, it's really, and nowadays it's even more crazy. So that kind of fell away once I found music, which is very odd. So music kind of took everything from what I thought I would do. I also went to school for filmmaking. I wanted to be a director for a while. And then all of a sudden music came in and kind of changed everything, took over. And I've kind of been forced into it from since I was like maybe 18, and now I'm like 32. So it's been like 12 years of trying, whatever, you know, around that time trying to get to that point of just getting into music. It takes a long time.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of dedication and practice. Do you think you will ever feel that, you know, you made it?
Oh, well, yeah, it's kind of interesting because I always tell my other half in the band, Ray, he always says, you know, I'm a natural born musician. I mean, he is a natural born musician. He grew up playing in the churches and doing all that kind of stuff. And I don't think I'm a natural musician. I think I have this, like, I got to constantly work at it type of thing. So in a weird way, where I'm at on the guitar right now and coming to Los Angeles, playing the Whiskey A Go-Go, playing the Viper Room, all these places we dreamed of when we were in New Jersey, that is a way of success in my eyes. It's also how you measure things. You know, of course, I would love to be a band like The Cure, or like Fields of the Nephilim. There's these bands that are almost always there. They don't always play shows and they don't always release records, but they're always there. I think that's way more appealing to being like something like U2, where you can't even walk down the sidewalk without somebody bombarding you.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Do you think there's... Well, obviously you think about that balance exists.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Persistence, I would imagine. Like there's a great quote from Lemmy from Motorhead. You know, he said that, like, basically you got to be like a virus and just never go away type of thing. And that's kind of how he always equated Motorhead. You just keep going, and eventually something's got to click, right? Maybe that's what it is, or stubbornness, or whatever. And the belief of what you're doing. You have to believe in what you're doing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Wow, I think that you know, moving across the country, that's one of the indicators of your persistence and believing in yourself. How was that? You know, that process.
Yeah, it was very trying. I mean, now mind you, this Ray, the drummer vocalist, he moved in 2012 to California, so that was already we just like finished the first record when he moved, or he even might have been flying back to finish some sessions. And he was out here, and he was just so excited that his excitement kind of made me want to jump. And I just knew that if we were going to do something, you kind of have to be out in the capital. I always felt like, you know, we played in New York City and stuff like that, but I always felt like you got to be more known to get into the higher realms, and LA seemed a little more easy. So, I mean, granted, you know, saving up and moving out here, I mean, it's not easy. It was probably the hardest thing to do, was moving out, especially like the first year is really rough. You know, it's not an easy thing to do, but at the same time, you're writing songs you've never written before. One of the first things I did when we moved to California, I wrote a song that's on our second record called Everything Will Be All Right. And that came from just me putting a capo on the fourth fret of the guitar and doing that for the first time, you know, and just kind of seeing the palm trees and being in Santa Monica for the first time, seeing the ocean, kind of getting a whole fresh thing, but also in a sense telling myself everything will be all right. You know, you did it, you're here. So you just got to go. And that's where I guess the belief and persistence really does kick in, because you can come out here and do nothing and then just go back home. And then I'm not for that kind of stuff. I want to really do something, you know.
And you are doing. So on that note, tell us a little bit your day today in LA, and, you know, places that you go to play, places that you go to practice. How is it around there?
It's really cool. And, you know, the wonderful thing out here is we had a very cool, a couple of years ago, we did a residency gig with the Whiskey A Go-Go with a bunch of bands. There was these great bands, World Distortion, Vigil of War, Earth Sleep, all these things. And we did about a month worth of them, like right every week. And it was phenomenal. We gained so much friends out of being with these guys in the bands over here, going to the whiskey every week and doing that, but then, like, you know, hanging out elsewhere that, you know, either at people's houses or whatever. And, you know, Sunset Strip is a great example too. It's so classic and cliche, but it works. I mean, you go to the Rainbow right after the whiskey. It's got the whole vibe. It's got everything. You know, the Doors were there, man. Come on. It's you know, that's like sacred ground. Right. So meeting all these people, them being like-minded, and then seeing everybody grow as bands and do their own thing and go even bigger, and it's amazing to see it watch. And now, you know, we're still all very close friends. Like, we all hang out, we all go see things, you know. I mean, it's very interesting to meet like-minded people. It felt a lot more communal out here than it was back in when we were in New Jersey.
Wonderful. Well, look, it sounds fantastic. It sounds like you know, it was a good decision, and it sounds like you know, you're getting where you want to be.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, you know, but it's not everything either, you know. It's like, now it's always trying to do something new too, you know. You can play. I'm not a fan of, like, oh, we got to play every gig and every show and every place, because I don't know. I think it's just more like it means stuff when things happen. Like, the next gig we're planning is the album release show for the record that we're finishing up right now, and, you know, we're picking the venue and trying to come up with the set, and all that kind of stuff makes it more interesting. But in the general landscape around here, there's so many cool things just besides the rock and roll stuff. I mean, you have the landmark, beautiful stuff like the Hollywood sign and those areas. I mean, these are famous spots you always see in movies. There's so much to do in that essence too. You can go from the mountains to the sea very quickly in California. It's very interesting. We have the rehearsal spot. It's right down the street, and you know, we always get there to get together and just kind of put everything together that we think. Like, when we were prepping for the whiskey show that we just did last week, we were there at least 3 times a week just trying to knock stuff out, make sure the set's tight, good, and very interesting for the crowd, dynamic, you know.
Wonderful. And how did it go?
Oh, the show was fantastic. You know, one of the coolest things, because, you know, obviously we're living in very odd times, and it was, people were saying it felt like a normal Friday night, and I thought that was really nice. I thought that was really cool that people were there because they wanted to be there. I mean, it was a really good crowd to come back to. They were reactive, enthusiastic. The bands on the bill were great. I mean, it was a very, very interesting show. Nice. We had, I mean, T-shirts for the first time. We never did that, so now we have T-shirts available, which we had a merch table. You know, we don't usually do that when we played gigs before, but it's been 2 years since we played a gig, so it's time. And we had the new lineup. We had, I mean, new songs that people haven't even heard. We played maybe 2 songs that people knew, and the rest were new songs from the record. Wonderful. So, and people were responsive, so it was nice. It was nice.
Wonderful. So, you know, tell us a little bit about, you know, your discography, your records, especially the newest one.
It's interesting, man. Like, so we've been, actually next year we'll be a band as HandsomeKarnivore for 10 years. So that's pretty cool. We formed in 2012, put our first record out in 2013. It's called Characteristics of Instrumental Silence. It's, like I said before, it's spoken word poetry here and there with instrumental music. Now, mind you, there were lyrics written, there was vocals for them, but we just decided, you know what, let's just, like I said, Ray moved out to California. We were just like, let's just put something out so we have something. So that kind of there, we didn't. I mean, technically, it's not even mastered. it's like, you know, it's pretty raw, but it's cool because you can kind of hear the ideas and where we're going. The second record is a full-blown assault on your ears. I mean, I played harmoniconic glockenspiel synthesizers plus all the, you know, the guitars and all that kind of, you know, we just went full-blown, like, we try to do Pink Floyd, like, you know, Dark Side of the Moon vibe.
Nice.
And so it's got 13 songs, and it takes you from all different genres. From, like, I mean, the reviews are pretty good. We had a lot of good reviews from some of the things that some of the people that reviewed them, and they were equating into certain things. Like, we had this song called "Can't Be Satisfied." Somebody said it was like a take on the 21st Century Blues or something like that. Because you know, I just try to do like something like Muddy Waters and Jimi Hendrix, you know, that kind of feel, beautiful, but a little electrified, kind of, and it mixed with like the Beatles, oddly enough.
Nice. So what's the title of that second one?
that second record is called The Chaotic Static Between Shadow and Substance.
Oh wow, nice, interesting.
But yeah, I was gonna say, so you could probably tell just even with the album title. I mean, it's interesting. The first record cover is all color, and the second one is completely black and white. You know, so it's those kind of things.
Beautiful.
It's trying to make it interesting. You know, there's always like these. I always try to put like little hidden tracks at the end of everything. Yeah, at the end of like the last song on every record, there's always like a hidden thing. But you know, you got to give it the space, like 2 minutes of silence, and see if anybody notices the track is still running.
Well, no, I'm getting
Little things like that.
I'm getting really, excited to find these records and to get them myself.
Oh yeah, they're all up on the Spotify and Apple Music, Amazon. It's all over the place.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's. I would love to hear your opinion on it because they all flow too. They all have a flow together. Each song breaks off into the next song a specific way. You know, the track listing is a specific way for a reason. You know, so now we're in the process of doing that with our third record. It's called Entities from the Fog, and it's definitely more. It's more direct. Like those songs on the second record are kind of intense. They go from like one part and then they'll never come back. They go to a whole different section and never come back, kind of thing.
Okay.
These ones are more rounded off, more straight to the point, I think, and they're more atmospheric at the same time. Like because every song either has an organ or a keyboard or a piano. Back in the two records before that, they're kind of piano is appearing on an intro or an outro kind of thing, but it's never fully through a song. And we've had the great privilege of working with our new producer. His name is Shane Taylor /Hutchinson, and he is the guitar player in Vigil of War, who's a great band out here as well, our dear friends. They're wonderful friends of ours. And he's producing our record, working on it, and also playing on it, also in the live aspect as well. And he's taken us to a whole nother level,
Wow.
production-wise and everything. And he definitely wants to do producing, and we're like the first kind of guinea pig for him, first full album that he's doing production-wise.
Nice. So
yeah,
it's. I'm sure it sounds like it's gonna be fantastic, and I'm definitely gonna look for your records. I'm the type of person that I really like to buy them and have them.
I am the same way as well. Even with the smell of the booklet, you know, you gotta read the credits, the liner notes, everything. I mean, that's the whole point. But people are, it's very interesting. A lot of people aren't like that, so I'm happy you're like that.
I love that. I still remember, a specific smell of the print is really wonderful.
Oh yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Or how does it fold out? Does the book have a poster inside of it, or does it not? You know, all the pictures, or when you take the disc out. You know, I think about all that kind of stuff when we're doing our own records because it's more interesting. You know,
it is, and I kind of see it from your interest in cinema. And I really wanted to take the conversation there because it's gotta be really exciting for somebody who studied cinema. And I assume that you really love movies and film.
Yes, indeed. Yeah,
Right.
we're a lot of big movie buffs in this film. We love it. The biggest kick, I don't know. I don't know if you've heard of it. You know who Dario Argento is? Have you ever seen Suspiria or Bird in Crystal Plumage? Inferno. There's all these great Italian giallo movies, they're called.
Yeah,
and it's just like Italian mystery kind of spooky stuff going on, and it's fantastic. And visually, there's a lot of fantastic images that you can see from his eyes. But also guys like Stanley Kubrick, of course. 2001: Space Odyssey. These Eyes Wide Shut. These gigantic scopes of films. David Lynch is another great example. I've been actually rewatching the Twin Peaks stuff and just the shots, and it's very fascinating the way they look at things, and it makes you reflect on your own art. I've been recently doing most of the artwork for our stuff, and I'm really stoked about the first the album cover that we're just coming up with for the third record.
Oh, wow.
It's very evocative, very cinematic. There's a lot of layers going on. It's filming, it does give you that eye. The cool thing is too, Ray himself is now doing drone stuff. So he's learning the whole aspect of it as well. I mean, he's always been around for when we've done the films and stuff like that. He's always been around, but he's taking it to the next level with the drone stuff. I mean, he's going to get footage that we've never even had before. And talk about cinematic, my God. I mean, there's going to be a lot going on. That's what we want to bring up too, is the visual aspect of the band as well. We've only done one music video, we've done a live concert professionally, all that kind of stuff, but to do something a little more short filmish instead.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful. So, you want to talk a little bit of your current lineup?
Yeah, no, I'd be very, very proud to introduce these guys. So, I mean, like I said, we just played our first show with these guys last week at the Whiskey. And so now the lineup is Xander Hines on bass. And we have Jonathan. He's moved out basically from Mississippi about right when the pandemic hit. So he's just been he's been aching to play, and he's a great, fantastic bass player, incredible musician. And he just holds it. He does things on the bass that are just it holds it down and moves it at the same time, and it's great. It's really, really good. Also does the backing vocals too, so that also helps. And we have Jonathan from Jonathan Oaknight. I hope I can say that correctly. He's in a band called Nebuline, which they're this really cool prog sci-fi kind of 2001 Space Odyssey, that kind of very cool stuff. And he's doing the rhythm guitar stuff and kind of a lot of the effects. He has monstrous amounts of pedal boards, and they're all. It's you could tap dance all over them. I wouldn't be able to handle something like that as a guitar player, because I need 2 or 3 pedals and I'm good. It's an art seeing him select the pedals and adding the textures, and it changes the whole vibe to the song. So there's always this underlayer of this interesting sound going on. And then we have Shane, as I mentioned before, who's producing this record. He does guitars, pianos, backing vocals, all that kind of stuff. So we call him the fifth element. He adds the atmosphere. He's the icing. It's if we were a cake, he's the icing on the top type of thing. And then Ray does the drumming and the vocals, and then I'm doing guitar, basically all the lead stuff, and on guitar and vocals, and then backing vocals as well.
Wonderful. This is
and
it's like a fabulous.
It's cool. It's the closest we've ever sounded to the album, which is cool. Live wise, it's the closest we've got.
Yeah. This is a recurring topic to sometimes you go see bands and is totally different, right? And it is not necessarily something bad or disappointing, but
it's just different.
It's just different.
And live should kind of be like that too. We don't do it exactly like the record. We'll do things that at the end of one of the songs, add the Munsters theme song into it. Just it's little things like that make them more interesting than just trying to play the songs from the record live.
Correct. One of the things that I enjoy the most is to see the difference, to see the reality of playing that music live versus the recording, right? So I try to figure out the adjustments that were required to play that live, and I enjoy it. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, True, right? It represents it well.
Yes, exactly. Wonderful. Okay, so if you were to give an advice or a message to your younger self, what would that be?
Oh, to my younger self, that'd be such an easy one. Play guitar way earlier, way more, and because I was so infrequent. I started learning when I was 15, but I didn't really start taking it serious until I was 22, maybe. It was just, for me, it was something to do when I wasn't making a film or skateboarding or writing poetry or whatever, And I really wish I would have started earlier, but it's practice. That would be what I would tell myself, and don't do stupid shit.
Awesome. So, okay, this was fantastic. Franco from HandsomeKarnivore, they're out in Los Angeles. They're making it. True musician with real passion, creating true music, and fantastic productions, and it's been a pleasure. And we wish you all the best, and we hope to stay in touch.
Oh, yes, indeed. I greatly appreciate this opportunity. This has been a wonderful chat, and I'm sad that it's over. But yeah, let's definitely do it again. Maybe when the record comes out or something like that.
Absolutely, anytime. Okay, we're gonna listen now a little bit more to In the Name of Love, HandsomeKarnivore. Thank you, Franco.
Thank you.
And take a stand, and you will see we're marching together, all in this together. Moral setbacks, endless shootings, why is there so much hate? Can't we unify despite our race or faith? Gaining riches from the blood and tears of those they pray. We must make a change for good before it's too late. And they'll say that you're on your own.
Are you tired of the typical libraries with conventional music that makes you feel meh? Introducing Leerecs.com, the music website made for and by minds like you. Our team are lifelong musicians and producers in love with music. Search the Leerecs music catalogs and find music with guaranteed originality. Mark the difference with music of signature at Leerecs.com.